Do you own or rent your home? Sure you do, and I'll bet it can be hard work. You know what's easy? Bundling policies with Geico. Geico makes it easy to bundle your homeowner's or renter's insurance along with your auto policy. It's a good thing, too, because you already have so much to do around your home. Go to geico.com, get a quote, and see how much you could save. It's Geico Easy. Visit geico.com today. That's geico.com.
Welcome back to Cardinals Corner here on Sports Talk 1050 WTK, the ticket online at WTK.com. Once again, we remind you for all your academic information, how to live uncommon and more. You can live uncommon like Aaron Ron. Visit CUAA.edu. That's CUAA.edu for your athletic information about Concordia Athletics, all things athletics at ConcordiaCardinals.com. You can download the Concordia Cardinals Athletics app for your iPhone or your Android. And there's this show, Cardinals Corner, right here on Sports Talk 1050 WTK, the ticket. Thanks to Jonathan Coddington, the offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach for the Concordia football program. And thanks to Aaron Ron, graduate student from the Concordia football team, for joining me to help me here on the show. And now it's time to talk to athletic director Lonnie Priest. Lonnie, welcome back to the show. How are you?
I'm doing well. Great to be here.
It's great to have you back here on the show, and obviously we're going to talk a lot of football towards the end, but just, man, that's exciting. Football, home playoff game for the Concordia football program, and as the guy who really got the whole thing started, and I know we kind of talk about it, and maybe you look at that in the rearview mirror now, but you laid the groundwork for this, and obviously you are the AD for this program. It's got to be just a really cool moment when that was announced on Sunday that you were a top 8 seed and you were hosting here in Ann Arbor.
Yeah, it was a cool moment, and Josh and I have had some time to talk this week a few times about just all the logistics of the game, but also just to reflect a little bit, on things and how it seems kind of like a different lifetime when we first got here and started things, and now to see how he's gotten things rolling and just in the playoffs, number of years in a row, and it's especially sweet after last spring. I mean, we were very thankful to play and have the success we did last spring, and it obviously hurt a little bit to not be able to host that game due to the regulations and stuff in the spring. So to be able to come back and do it now, and to be able to follow through and now have a home playoff game, it's just awesome, exciting, and just very proud of Josh and the staff and the guys for putting it all together.
And the Big Ten Conference and the TV networks did you a favor, because the other team that you share Ann Arbor with doesn't play until 3:30, which means people can go to the Concordia football game. It's a 1 o'clock kick here in Ann Arbor, and when it's over, you go home, watch the end of the Maryland-Michigan game, because we kind of know how that game should go. But we want people there supporting Concordia football, postseason action here in Ann Arbor. We'll get back to football a little bit later on, but it was exciting talking to Jonathan about it, because he's now in his 6th year with the program, and I was like, just let's throw these numbers out there. 5 years in a row to go to the postseason. Now 2 consecutive seasons where you win or share for the championship in the conference. And now we'll host a home playoff game for the first time. And as you just alluded to, and I probably should have mentioned this earlier, should have been the second time that you're hosting a playoff game, and that wasn't available to you despite your seeding earlier in the season earlier this year. But what a year 2021 is for football. It's not over yet, but what a year 2021 is for Concordia football.
Yeah, it's been awesome. I mean, if you put the whole thing together, within one calendar year, you're sharing 2 conference titles, which, obviously that never really can happen. So, it got a little asterisk, and there'll be some explaining to do when you look at the years and stuff. But just very blessed, very blessed to be competing. So thankful for the guys that they're actually able to play. You really don't take that for granted now, with everything that's going on. And, just so thankful and grateful for everything they've accomplished, and, all the success and the way they've been able to maintain it as well. It's one thing to get there, but then to maintain it year to year, that's a huge accomplishment.
And now more things ahead for football. We'll get back to football. We'll talk a little bit not a little bit. We'll talk about the logistics for Saturday, how things are going to go. We're going to obviously, again, we're going to continue to talk about that for the rest of the week here on WTK, because we want people to go out there and support the Dirty Birds as they host a playoff game coming up at 1 o'clock on Saturday. But, of course, they're not the only ones playing, and we talk about that this time of year as you're leading up to this window between Halloween and Thanksgiving, where you have the fall sports wrapping up. You have the winter sports well underway, it seems like, at this point in time. So let's put a ribbon on some of these fall sports. The volleyball team wrapped up their season last week. They lost at Indiana Tech in the WAC playoffs. The WAC announced their conference awards for the season. Kayla Peters, Abigail Alston were first and second team honors, respectively. Ellen Stoles was your team's Champion of Character Award winner. And head coach Danielle Cook, she was named the conference's Champions of Character coach. And so we talked about this before because you've had other coaches win that award. And you're not going to win it every year because they do have to share that with other coaches that they feel maybe exemplify those same kind of things. But every time a coach that you hired wins, or that you employ, which is all of them obviously, wins one of those awards, the Champions of Character Coach Award, that's got to be as gratifying as any athlete award or anything else that you see through your program, because that means you know that you have the right person running that program, amongst many other reasons that you know that the person's the right person.
Yeah, it's a great it's kind of affirmation that those people who are in charge are doing things the right way. They're doing it with integrity, and I know Coach Cook with how she runs her program and how she respects the other team. I know that every home game we reach out and ask for, ask the opponents if they want to pray together afterwards, which is kind of cool because they don't even shake hands. After games now, they kind of do the little wave after volleyball, but then if teams want to, they'll come together, and then will get together and put their arms around each other and pray. So just some cool stuff like that to see. And definitely Coach Cook is all about things bigger, than just volleyball. She obviously wants to be competitive, which they've definitely raised the bar that way, but she definitely wants to have a program that does things the right way and definitely focuses on the growth of her athletes. So it's definitely well deserved for her.
I mean, we talk about this, maybe not directly, but we talk around this all the time. That we all know that when you're the athlete, what they call it, the athlete pyramid, right? The bottom are the youth sports athletes, and then when you go up the pyramid, you have the middle school athletes, and then you go up, you have the high school, and obviously the numbers get smaller, and it keep going up, it keeps getting smaller. But the coach's impact on all the athletes that are in that pyramid are really valuable, because most of these that are in the pyramid, they're not once eventually you hit the somewhere, you leave the pyramid essentially, right? You're not playing your sport anymore when you graduate, or maybe you're playing just for fun as an adult, but you're for 99.999% of people that go to college at any level, you eventually turn pro in anything other than a sport. And so the coaches are, sure, they want to win, as you said, but there's a lot more to it than that. And I always love hearing the stories, from your student athletes that tell that they always have great stories to tell. And telling their stories, like earlier talking to Aaron, getting a chance to be a graduate student, and coming back from an injury and getting an opportunity to get an extra year and get a little more education in there. Always exciting seeing your coaches win awards like this. It's just another example of why we love having such a great partnership with you guys here at Concordia University here in Ann Arbor.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that, Ira. I mean, we we're not perfect by any stretch, and we got a lot that we learn from the mistakes we make, but it is neat to see, it's neat to see the development, of the student athletes from when they come in, and obviously all the hours and years that they put in before that. But just to be there kind of for majority of them, at the end of their athletic playing days, as they get ready to take that step out into the real world and start their career, start their families, whatever that may be. And it's, something that we try and take very seriously. It's obviously we want to have fun. We're playing games and stuff like that, but it's a very important time in their lives. So we try and support them and walk alongside them as best we can, and share with them what we've learned from our mistakes and from our successes, and hopefully leave an impact that they can take with them when they leave Concordia.
Talking to Lonnie Priest, athletic director at Concordia here on Cardinals Corner, Sports Talk 1050 WTK. The ticket online at WTK.com. Another team that had their season wrap up, the women's soccer team. They had 4 Cardinals recognized by the WAC this week. Sierra Tischer and Megan Starkey were named second team all-conference. Cameron Gorecki was named the WAC newcomer, to the WAC newcomer team, and Grace Dame was named the Cardinals Champion of Character Award recipient as well. So another season in the books, and pretty fun soccer season for the ladies.
Yeah, they battled. I know it was kind of a roller coaster a little bit. Some ups and downs. They had some moments there where they were rolling, and then they kind of hit a tough stretch. I know I talked to Coach Abbott, and that's that happens, and I think it's definitely going to make these girls who are coming back more resilient and hopefully hungry for the future. But yeah, they had a lot of success. Those girls that you mentioned, had some great seasons, and I know they'll be ready to get after it in a very tough conference. be chomping at the bit to get going here in the off season.
All right, so they go into their off season, and we now are in the early stages of conference season for basketball, amazingly enough. And the only home games, or excuse me, the only games this week on the Cardinals basketball schedules for the men and the women is kind of a big one, as it is a rivalry day here in Ann Arbor, as Siena Heights is coming to town. So that's always exciting.
Oh yeah, it's fun with Siena in so many sports, and obviously basketball is no different. I think basketball and football are the main ones that get pretty intense, and again, so close. School is very similar. A lot of focus on the mission and the culture of our universities, and we're very competitive in most sports. So it should be two good games.
That game, the women are playing as we speak, as the show airs here on the station. The men's game tips off at 7:30, and hopefully the men's team can get things going in the conference play, because, man, there's nothing more frustrating than opening conference play with two losses that are a combined 9 points.
Yeah, and some tough losses. I mean, to be up in one game, in control, and then just have the other team come rearing back, and then the other game to not be playing well, really, and then to get way down, and then to kind of make a great comeback and just not be able to pull it off. So obviously stuff to build on, I guess, learn from, but it still stings when it's two losses that are that close. It
is still very obviously early in the season for these basketball programs. They have 3 games left in the month of November, and then when they head through December, only 6 games in December, as the schedules are fairly light because obviously they are going through the holiday season, and then things really start picking back up after the new year, and we'll really be digging into basketball in January as they continue to move beyond the getting your feet wet stages and going obviously well beyond that. I feel like they're still in the getting your feet wet stages of the basketball season. And so we'll see how they continue to compete over the next few weeks. Also want to mention that the Rocket League team will be competing in the first ever WAC Rocket League tournament this Saturday. The Cardinals are going into the tournament as the 6th seed. They'll be facing Cleary, and the tournament is being hosted at Aquinas. And you and I have talked about this. We talked about this a few times about this overall, where it's just cool the WAC offers this now. And they have a WAC Rocket League tournament. This is a league championship within the conference, which is really cool.
Yeah. It was really neat when enough schools in the conference got it, so we could start doing stuff against each other and have actually a championship in these different sports that these kids are playing, and then to be able to get together and do it. I mean, I know it's a sport. Esports is something you can do remotely and so on, but it is kind of neat to be able to get physically, around each other. And when we hosted that event this past week, it was just neat to see the kids interacting and cheering for one another. And it just adds a different element when you can obviously be physically near the people that you're competing against.
The bowling teams will be back in action this Saturday at the BGSU Falcon Classic down there in Bowling Green. The men's hockey team has a home-and-home series with Rochester this weekend. The women's team will have a home-and-home series against UM Dearborn and U of M this weekend. So the bowling is in action, hockey is in action, but a lot of focus, Lonnie, needless to say, when you get to this time of year, is what's happening on your campus on Saturday, which is post-season football action. 1 o'clock is the kick time. St. Xavier comes to town. I was talking to Coach Coddington earlier, and you guys last faced them in 2019 at their place in a close game that Concordia was able to win. There are a few familiar faces on both sides, but a lot of new faces as well. But here we are now in the postseason, and we talked about it at the beginning of this segment, the excitement, the emotion, obviously, as a part of it, too, of being able to host and be able to pull it this year and the way the last year and everything has played out. So take us through what Saturday, what you prior to the game, the logistics. We want people to be there. How do they get their ticket information? How do they, all that kind of good stuff? We want people there.
Oh yeah. We the ticket link will be posted on our website. I think it's up there right now. Tickets are $15, and that's for general seating. We have our reserve seats already, have already been purchased through our families. But $15 for general admission, $5 parking. Game time is 1 o'clock. It's other than that, it's pretty much like a regular game. The one thing is, if you want to catch it online, there is a fee for that because we obviously are encouraging people to come to the game. So it's a $20 for the live stream link if you want to watch it online, because there is a pretty substantial cost to host a playoff game. So obviously that's why the ticket prices are a little bit more expensive, and there's the live stream fee, but that's just kind of the help appease the cost of that for that. But yeah, normal game time, tailgating beforehand, strongly encouraged, just like normal, and we're looking to have a great day.
ConcordiaCardinals.com will have all of your information. Follow that. Plus, Concordia Cardinals football is on Twitter and social media, other social medias as well. Lonnie, we are really excited about this game coming up on Saturday. I will be watching. I have other responsibilities that day, but I will be following along and watching and cheering you guys along from across town. And we will, of course, be reporting back on it next week and hopefully talking about another football game coming up next week. But one game at a time, so good luck against St. Xavier this coming Saturday to all the guys, coaches, players, et cetera, everyone involved with the Concordia football program.
Thank you so much. We're looking forward to a great day, great weather, and hopefully have a great report to give you and discussion next week as we get ready for the next one, hopefully.
Thanks to Lonnie Priest for joining us here on the show. Thanks to Aaron Ron. Thanks to Jonathan Coddington for joining me earlier. And thanks to all of you for listening. This has been Cardinals Corner on Sports Talk 1050 WTKA Ann Arbor, a Cumulus station.